Hey guys, it's Shay and I'm here with my partner Eli. Welcome back to another episode of the Nani Network.
That's right, the podcast where we crack open a can of hot air and give you the unbiased, unfiltered, but full of love opinion on anime 2 shows at a time.
You heard it. From the underdog's journey to the darkest tale, let's see where your favorite anime lands on the Nani Network scale. Hey everybody! We are kicking Halloween week off with a bang! Bang bang! So in honor of Hallows Eve, we decided to do our top 2 favorite goriest anime.
Right. Boop. So 2 from Shay, 2 from me, totaling up to 4 of our goriest anime faves. Shay, kick us off with our first.
All right, so the first one that I'm going to mention is going to be a scene from Blood Sea. So if anyone watched Blood Sea, we know that this show is very good at being very, very bad and very graphic. So the whole show is basically a slaughter fest of civilians by these demon entities. But the scene in particular that really just makes my skin crawl is going to be the scene that happens in the town square when the demons are on a rampage. They're running through the city, breaking into people's homes. There's a couple of like rabbit demons.
Yeah.
So they look like bunny rabbits, but really big. And they have like markings on them, like demonic markings on them.
Yo.
And, I think it's really the juxtaposition that gets me because it's these bunny rabbits that look like bunny rabbits, but they're huge, and we see them killing people in these creative ways.
It's rabbit season.
That are just so sickening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is like sickening to fucking say creative ways of fucking killing people. What are you talking about?
These were demons that didn't just kill, they also ate humans. So, but they weren't just popping them in like Tic Tacs. They would kill them like they were at a barbecue. One guy
twisted somebody's head like a cork. The other guy's eating somebody like a kebab, or like someone else is eating them like corn on the cob. It's just,
you would think that they was at Thanksgiving. The way they're eating these people, there was one part where like one of the rabbits, so they have really sharp fingers like talons and like fangs. So they would take the humans and, what do you call it? Impale them.
Yeah.
They would impale them from the mouth like to the groin on their finger, and then like when he got 5 fingers full, he would then eat them off his fingers. So it was the needless cruelty of it that also just made it so cringy, because like you could just eat them. Just eat them.
Honestly, such a fucking gory moment in anime, period. Like, you can't watch that without feeling some sort of like, yikes.
They made a milkshake out of humans. There was a scene where they were just collecting them and throwing them into like a little arm pouch.
And the whole time I'm watching, like, what are they doing? Why are they just tossing them in there?
You're just like, okay, maybe those might, get away, crawl out.
Maybe they'll be slaves at least.
At the very least.
Minimum.
But then this is where the teamwork came into play. And then like, so one had the bag of humans, and then the other one turned his arm into a blender and put it in there like we were watching a Martha Stewart cooking segment.
Have you ever seen a fanciful pie or an innovative, beautiful cake and wondered how do they do that?
And
for real. For real. I was like, how can I describe that? Like a cake batter. And like, yep, Martha Stewart.
So me being as risk averse as I am, all of those ways, like none of them were better than the other as a way to die. Because it's like, dang, like they really don't care. Yeah. So I'm like, this is one of those places where if I was here, I would have to bash my head into a wall and let them feed on my
Yo, you don't have to go in the worst way possible.
I'm going to kill myself. The quickest way, as soon as I see the motherfuckers hopping down the street, because they're like bashing their hands into people's windows and grabbing them out. So it's not like you could even lock your door and go under your bed. Like, that kind of shit terrifies me. I don't risk averse.
Period. Nah. Ugh. My first goriest scene is 2 scenes, which stems from the anime Akame ga Kill. If you've watched that, it's a 1-season anime which just tells a story of this imperial kingdom that is ruling over a place that has these imperial arms, which are weapons unique to certain users. There's only a select number of them, and there's a resistance that's going against the imperial kingdom because they're treating the people like shit. It's like the basic story of the kings treating the peasants like shit. People are being kidnapped, raped, mutilated, and treated like shit by the rich folk. But the story really is one of the saddest animes I've watched in a way. I think I've mentioned before that I didn't like how it ended. If you guys have watched, you see how like basically all of your characters die. You start with a gaggle of people and you go maybe like 5 to 7 episodes, and after you go 5 to 7 episodes of loving the group, they start killing them off literally one by one every single
It emotionally
episode.
wrecks you.
It emotionally wrecks you. So one of the more notable scenes for me is when Chelsea, who was one of the latter members to join the night raid squad, and she was a super confident girl. She had the ability to transform herself into any organism, I would say, using one of her imperial arms, which was like a makeup kit which could disguise her as anything that she wanted to be. And she was super confident and went after the enemies, and they captured her. And the next time we see her is when her head is chopped off and hanging in the fucking town square
On a pike.
on a pike, high up for everyone to fucking see. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? That shit was absolutely crazy. And it just set the precedent for what was going to happen for the rest of the anime.
To add insult to injury for that scene, one of the people who had captured her, when they met up with her friends, they were just like, yeah, not only like, yeah, you saw that, but my imperial arms, which was that
living organism, right,
teddy bear thing, he's like, he ate her body and shat her out. And I was just like, that was so fucked up to me, because I'm like, one, vulgar, and then two, just like, dang, like you didn't get a break dying. You didn't get a break, your body in the afterlife. Like it was just really
disgusting,
fucked up. Yeah.
Like, ugh. And my second mention from this anime, Akame ga Kill, is Tatsumi, the main protagonist. As I said, everyone dies, and the way he dies, protecting the entire kingdom from the giant imperial arms, which was disguised as the kingdom's castle. So it was like this giant colossal, I don't know, like fighter bot.
Looked like a transformer.
Yeah,
or something you would see in Power Rangers.
And he had this like dragon armor that adapted to scenarios, and it went to its highest form. It evolved to its highest form so that he can combat it, and he beat it. And while it was falling and collapsing on the kingdom, he used his body as a shield to not only slow down the momentum, but take the brunt force of it. And the scene of him basically barebacked against this giant head, pushing it from the freaking civilians, blood starts pouring out of like every crevice of his body, and he's wearing a freaking armor.
And he's a small guy.
He's a small dude, and he doesn't give in until like until he knows it stopped, and then you just know like Tatsumi's done for. Like, Akame ga Kill. Like, if I held on hope for so long, thinking that they were gonna keep someone fucking alive, and they said, "Nah, be chill."
They kept Akame alive.
My friend told me that. He was like, well, she's in the name. Like, she's the only one who's supposed to live. Fuck you.
Not that animes ever give a shit about that before, but neither here nor there.
Disgusting.
So, my second Goriest anime would be Parasite the Maxim. So, if you've ever Googled or like looked on YouTube for like, top 10 goriest animes or bloodiest scenes or just horror animes, this one usually makes the list, and I see why. For a while, I had put it off because I'm like, yikes. But so Parasite, basically, if you watched it, tells the story of these like little organisms that inhabit human, like they're parasites. Mm-hmm. They inhabit the human body, and they inhabit the brain. So they will go in through your ear, take over your brain, and thus gain control of your body and your consciousness. So they essentially just take you over. In doing so, they have this ability where they have like these, their head transforms into these blade like weapons.
Word,
right?
yeah.
So we've seen that once the parasite takes you over, there's no differentiation between what was the original human and what is the parasite. So a lot of the times in the scenes that we see, like someone will be talking to like their loved one, their husband, their wife, their sister, and the person will be looking at them with like this dead-eyed stare, and then you'll slowly see their head split open.
What the fuck?
And then blades will emerge, and they will slash their loved one to death.
Yo.
And it's bloody and graphic. So one of the scenes in particular was like the opening scene of the anime where that happened. This woman, her husband, he was looking like off, and she's like, sweetie, you know what's going on? And his head split open and he hacked her to bits. And then we see the next scene is her neighbor calling for her, and she's just like, oh, Mrs. Whatever, your laundry, you still left your laundry out, it's gonna rain tomorrow. And then like the light comes on from the home and you see that it's her innards on the laundry line. And that is kind of like the theme throughout the rest of the show. We're just like these fucked up ass deaths.
You don't know. Too lit.
Yeah, you don't know who's a parasite, and that sparks like fear and like people just like passing, you know, senseless blame on other people. But you don't know. Your classmate, your loved one, anyone can be it, and you don't know until their head splits open and they kill you.
Simple as that. Next, my second one is definitely going to be a scene from Attack on Titan. I feel like you cannot do a list of goriest anime scenes without mentioning Attack on Titan, because the entire show is a gory fucking scene. From start to finish,
Sickening.
This show is disgusting. If you do not know what this show is about, basically the world has reached the brink of existence. The human race has reached the brink of existence. We now exist between 3 primary layers of walls, and we are being under attack from these Titan beings who are essentially giants who are mindless and thoughtless, who eat humans for fun, sustenance, or whatever the fuck. They just eat humans whenever the fuck they can. And that is basically the premise. And so this basically kicks it right the fuck off. We meet our main character, Eren Yeager, and we see his mom, when they break through one of the walls, be eaten by one of these zombies. And I think this is one of these Titans. It's one of the most iconic fucking scenes in anime, period. I think like you see this all over Instagram, all over everywhere, and they replay it throughout the entire series because this shit traumatized the fuck out of our fucking protagonist. The guy had like the high gums and the craziest smile you've ever seen in your life.
He had a very memorable face. Like, even though the Titans, like, for like the most part, they kind of like blurred together. Like, they had the big eyes, the cheesing grins or whatever. But
you knew who this man was.
Yes,
you knew who he was, and he grabbed her by her legs and held them and ate her like upper torso first.
He bit her in half.
And like while her son's watching, while being pulled away, like that is one of the craziest things I've fucking seen. Because I didn't know what to expect with Attack on Titan going into that, and that was super early on. I was like, oh, what's the hype?
Episode, Jesus Christ!
The biggest moment I've had. And that's only one of the many moments. I think another moment that like comes to mind is when
any scene where Annie is involved.
Any scene where Annie's involved.
Bitch gave no fucks.
Yo, Annie was killing everybody. Or when the captain of their squad like led all the troops to their fucking deaths essentially. Edwin, right. Captain Edwin like led everybody on a suicide mission charging against the freaking Beast Titan, and you just witness a massacre. This guy is crumbling rocks for fun and just tossing it at these guys.
So you're being maimed, crushed to death, and then whatever, like if you're alive, you're gonna later be eaten by the roving Titans. Like you just don't get a reprieve. You don't get a break. I think that's so even more fucked up where it's just like, just kill me.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Like, just kill me. Why are you doing all of this? You can easily kill me.
Why are you doing this?
You could swap me and like kill me in an instant, but it's like the torture, the drawn out aspect of it, where it's like people are being maimed, right? That's just like, that makes it so crazy.
Even more so, he had like other giant Titans watching just next to him. He didn't tell them to move. Like the menacing, disgusting fairness that these Titans would put into you, even as a viewer. Like I've even admitted to Shay that like I would have to take breaks watching Attack on Titan because like I am so invested and I am hurt. I am hurt. It's absolutely crazy.
Even if you miss a rock, guess what? There's 7 Titans there waiting. So it's just like whatever is the point?
How long am I gonna have to play dead?
Why are people having kids in this world? Why are people having children in this world? I do not see the point of that.
Is that the Universal Naughty Network question?
I would be so upset if like I was born into this world, I would look up at my parents like, why? You couldn't pull out, Dad? Like, this makes no fucking sense. And I would forever hold a grudge against my parents for that.
Shay.
Because it don't make sense.
Nah, not for nothing. Like, what?
You bringing
Especially
a family
after they had broke, like, Wall Maria.
Yeah.
Like, after we have, like, only 2 walls to live in.
Not let me find out I was just pregnant.
How many acres do you think that is? I don't think it's that much.
It's not. And I know people were still fucking. Not saying you shouldn't fuck, but goddamn, like, pull out or something.
Hey.
But that was our top 2 goriest scenes in anime. So we do have a few honorable mentions, right? Because the anime world is not short on gore and blood.
You just can't. Like, I don't think there's any list that can be compiled without, like, forcing yourself to mention something. You have to.
Yeah. So there's the obvious ones, right? And then let's name a few. So I think one of the ones that we wanted to shout out was Tokyo Ghoul.
Yes. Tokyo Ghoul is one of my favorite anime, actually. The theme song is iconic. Oh, but Kaneki and the scene where he was being tortured is crazy. He was having his fingers cut off and reattached and consistently broken. He had a centipede inserted into his head. He was just being maimed and abused by this guy. And to top it all off, after Kaneki gets set free and gives into his ghoul side, he freaking goes apeshit on this guy, maims him, starts breaking his fingers, and then proceeds to eat him. So
I knew that Tokyo Ghoul was gonna be a bunch of bullshit from episode 1 when I think the I forgot her name, but the one who transforms Kaneki, like I think she was going on like a murdering spree prior to that, and it was just like, damn bitch. Kind of like almost I saw similarities between this one and Parasite in the way that they killed their victims, whereas like they use like these slashing, well in this one they use like, I don't know what it's called, but like the attachment of their body. Yeah. They use them as weapons to like slash and hack people to bits. And then the cannibalistic aspect on top of that just made it sickening. And I'm like, oh, y'all just gonna start episode 1 with this shit.
You gotta prep them for shit like that. They can't just get that shit right off the top. Like,
exactly.
Okay, heard
so
you.
Tokyo goes with the shits from the beginning. The next honorable mention is something that we actually had on the Nani Network, Devilman Crybaby. That shit, you cannot say that it's not gory. On top of just the fucking vaginas bursting into mouths and demons and all the gore of that aspect of people unbeknownst to them being turned into fucking demons. But there is the iconic scene to us where one of the main characters or one of the main side characters transformed into his demon and went on a fucking rampage during a freaking high school track meet, murdering hundreds of children, family. They're like gripping at the gate for their lives trying to escape, and he is just stomping. They even had the funniest fucking scene where somebody is unsuspectedly listening to their iPod, not knowing that there's a rampage going on and they're in danger, and he gets his head stomped on. So Devilman Crybaby, although the anime, as you might have known, I mean, listen to the episode, but it had some what the fuck moments, and so it's definitely the gore. There
wasn't even the consolation where it's just like, okay, they only target adults, because I feel like some anime will do that where like kids and animals are off limits. Not here, because I mean eventually you'll see the whole world literally goes to hell.
Not here.
But yeah, they had no qualms with just murdering an arena full of teenagers. So
yikes.
there was no holds barred, and I can respect that, because you know it shows less prejudice than the ones where it's just like, oh, let's just fuck up the adults' lives. No, I want to know that if me and little Timmy are running down the street, we both have a chance to get axed.
You're out of here. But that wraps up today's Nani Network short. Thank you guys for listening to us, and let's hear your ratings. We know we're not the only ones with opinions out there, so sound off under this episode's Live Now pick on our Instagram at Official Nani Network. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you can. Talk to you guys later.
Later.